Good afternoon, everybody. This is Keith Whitman bringing you today's matchup between the visiting Chapel Hill Bulldogs and the Van Vandals. Game time is going to start here shortly as the meeting at the home plate, by the coaches just ended. So we're glad you're with us tonight. It's going to be a great game. It's a district starter for both. You're watching NETsn.
Vandals begin District 16 4A competition by hosting the Chapel Hill Bulldogs. Now it's time to introduce the players for tonight's game. First, let's meet the Bulldogs. Playing center field and batting first, Austin Vega. Playing right field and batting second, Chandler Lawson. Batting third, playing first base, Malcolm Pisana. Playing right field, Ethan Mendez. Playing third base, number 19, Riley Underwood. Playing left field, number 7, Jackson Cummings. Playing shortstop, number 13, Connor Griffin. Catching tonight, number 15, Logan Ray. DH tonight is going to be number 25, Mason Beck. Will be hitting for number 11, Jesse Jones.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.
strikes, and Ed Hansen will be in the field. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, battery for tonight's game. Throwing heat, Colton Greer, and behind the plate, Austin Stevenson. Ladies and gentlemen, it's game time in Vanderland. Play ball. Go get them, boys.
All right, it's game time here in Van. We just saw the lineups for this game. It's a District 16 4A opener here in Van. And we'll talk about the Van Vandals right now. Head coach Clayton Holtum is the new head coach of the Van Vandals. He was the former head coach of the Chapel Hill Bulldogs last year and moved over here to Van. And then for the Bulldogs, Brian Schneider is the head coach for the Bulldogs in his first year. The Bulldogs are 4-11 on the season. They come into this game with a 2-1 loss against Jacksonville last game. And the Vandals come in with a win over Palmer 15-6 in their last game. But everything is new right now because the district starts today. And we have some players to watch for the Van Vandals. Asher Hawkins, number 2, is batting .353 on the season with 34 at-bats. And Malcolm Pasama for the Bulldogs, he is batting .320 with 25 at-bats. So we get things kicked off as Austin Vega steps up, leading things off for the Bulldogs, and swing and a miss for strike. Correction, a ball on that one. I apologize. I looked up a little bit too late to get that one. So 2 balls to Vega as he steps in. Colton Greer on the mound for the Vandals tonight. And Vega watches that go by for a strike. Greer has a 1.01 ERA and is 2-2 on the season. In there for another strike, so the count evens at 2 for Vega as Greer pitches his way back to even the count. Greer looks in, and it's going to be fouled off. So Vega stays alive. Steps into the batter's box. And there's the pitch. It's going to be right over the head of the pitcher, and he's going to beat out the run. So the Bulldogs have a runner on first to start the ball game. Next up, Chandler Lawson for the Bulldogs. And he bunts it down the first base line. Greer has it and over to first for the first out. But the runner does advance as Vega goes to second base. Next up, Malcolm Pasama, number 28. Heads up to the plate. He's a senior this year. Hoping to bring that runner on second home. And give the Bulldogs a good start of this top of the first. Pasama looks in. Here's the pitch. Swing to miss for a strike. A good cut, but a good pitch as well. Oh and 1 to Pasama. And watches that one go by, and it's a strike. So he's behind in the count, 0 and 2. Runner on second and 1 out for Chapel Hill. That's going to be outside for a ball. Tried to get him to chase on that one, but Pasama stopped and thought better of it. Here's the pitch. Another outside for a ball, so now it's even at 2. Greer brings the pitch, and that's going to be clipped down to third base. And Johnson is there to get it, but Pasama beats out the run again. So Vega advances to third. Pasama stays on first. And Ethan Mendez will step into the batter's box for the Bulldogs. With runners at the corners and only one out, Mendez is going to look to advance some runners and get some runs on the board. Greer looks in, brings the pitch. It's a high ball out of play for a strike. And Greer looks in for the pitch. Checks the runner at first. Goes over to first for Pasama. But he's back in time. So Greer checks. And over to first again. And once again, Pasama's back. Pasama has 6 stolen bases on the season. Here's the pitch to Greer. From Greer, That's a hit over to second base. He pops it over to the second baseman. The shortstop, for the out on a fielder's choice. But a run does finally come home as Vega crosses home plate and puts the Bulldogs on the board. So that's 2 down as Riley Underwood will step in. Greer checks the runner. And a swing and a miss as he brings it home for a strike. Underwood waiting on the pitch. Greer looks over at first. Steps off the bag as the runner gets back. Here's the pitch. It's high, just above the numbers for a ball. So 1-1 the count. As Underwood has a runner on with 2 outs, hoping not to be the third. Greer checks again and brings the pitch home. That's a swing and a miss for a strike. And Underwood finds himself behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the runner advances to second after the swing. But 1-2. And a swing and a miss for strike 3. So the runner on second doesn't come to anything. However, the Bulldogs do get a run in to take the lead early in the game. It's just the top of the first. We're heading down to the bottom. You're watching NETsn here live from Van. We're thankful that you're joining us. Go ahead and like and subscribe so you don't miss a minute of the sports action here in Northeast Texas. We'll be right back here in Van. And we're back here in Van. We're in the bottom of the first. One run is scored by the Bulldogs in the top of the first, so Van is going to step up. Asher Hawkins, the designated hitter, will be the first to lead things off for the Vandals. Number 5, Ethan Mendez is on the mound for the Bulldogs. Mendez is 1-2 on the season with a 2.14 ERA. So Hawkins steps up and lead things off for the Vandals. Mendez looks in, gets the sign. And his first pitch is off of Logan Ray's glove and in for a ball. And that's a hit, but it's going to go foul down the third base line. And it'll be 1-1. We want to apologize and let you know that if the stream that you're watching is dropping, we do apologize. It is a little bit poor internet service out here, but keep in mind we will have high-quality version of this game and will be uploaded later on, so you'll be able to go back and watch it if you miss anything during this live stream. That was a ball. So 2-1 for Hawkins, as Mendez brings in the pitch. Put a little English on that one, and it goes across the plate and evens the count at 2. Good movement on that pitch. So Hawkins steps up, looking to get things going here for the Vandals. Here's the pitch, and it's going to be hit and straight back at Mendez as he snags that one out of sheer survival, I believe, but good instincts on his part for out number 1. And Grady Bates will come up. He's number 1. And he'll step up and take his go at Mendez. And here comes the pitch. And it's a high fly ball into left field, as Cummings is underneath it and gets out number 2. So 2 quick outs go the Vandals, and Colton Greer will step up to the plate and see if he can at least get a runner on base for the Vandals. Here's the pitch, and it's going to be fouled back, Fumbled my words on that one. I was following it, making sure it didn't hit me. So that's going to be 0-1 the count. Mendez gets the sign and brings the pitch. Puts a little something that's going to bounce in front for a ball. as Greer steps in and awaits the pitch. Tips that one back for a foul. And he's now behind in the count 1-2. So nobody on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Greer. Here comes the pitch from Mendez. That's going to be high, about eye level for a ball, so that evens the count. And a good pitch. And that's going to be the shortstop. Over to first. And it's in time for out number 3. As Connor Griffin gets that one and throws it over. So we're through 1. Nothing comes for the Vandals. As 3 up, 3 down, they go. Bulldogs still lead 1-0. We're going to head to the second. You're watching NETsn. Go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you'd like, go ahead and chat with us. We'd love to see who all is watching us and see where you're watching from if you want to let us know. Thank you for watching. We'll be right back.
Net Sports Network, your streaming home for Northeast Texas sports.
And we're back here in Van. Bulldogs lead 1-0 in the top of the second. Jackson Cummings will step up and take his go as Greer will try to pitch out of this inning without causing a run. Had a struggle in the first. And here comes the pitch. That's a good pitch in there for a strike. That's going to be a little low for a ball. Watches that one go by for another ball. So 2-1 the count. And the count works to 3-0. Excuse me, 3-1. And he gets that one in for a strike, so that'll put the count full. And in there for a strike. So he came back as Greer pitched a good round on that one. And strikes out the first batter for out number 1. Connor Griffin up next. That bounces up for a ball. Griffin watches that one go by for another ball. I don't take anything away from Colton Greer. He's been behind a couple of times and pitches his way out of it. That one's going to be down as well. 3 balls and no strikes to Griffin. And here's the pitch. And that's ball 4. So Griffin make the stroll down to first. Logan Ray will step up to the plate. Ray finally steps in, and we'll get things started. Greer checks the first base and brings that pitch. It is there for a strike, but it's a pass ball. And that'll put Griffin on second. So a good pitch, but Stevenson just couldn't hang on to that one. And the runner advances. A good hit, but it's going to go foul. Almost into the dugout. Solid swing. But a strike nonetheless. So Ray behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. That's going to be a ball. In there for a strike. Oh, I apologize. That's a strikeout. So out number 2. So 2 down. Runner on second, Mason Beck. And that's in there for a strike. Little English on that one goes just outside. And that'll bring in 1-1. And a hit to second baseman, as Hinch gets that one over for out number 3. We'll be right back here in Van in just a minute. You're watching NETsn. And we're back. It's a 1-1 count. Here comes the pitch from Mendez. In there for a strike. And gets that one in there for a strike. So out number 1. Number 33, Andrew Flaughter, steps up to the plate. And Mendez looks and brings the pitch. It's going to be outside for a ball. Outside for a ball. And here's the pitch from Mendez. Little English on that one. In there for a strike. Here comes the pitch. And that's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Excuse me, I'm sorry, strike 2. So 2-2 the count. As Flaughter waits on the pitch. And here it comes. And it's going to be a high out of play for a foul ball. And he stays alive. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a good hit to the first baseman. And Malcolm Pasama shoots over and gets that out for out number 2. Gets that in there for a strike. Ross Hendricks, number 6, on the plate. Here's the pitch. And a good hit over to the shortstop. And Griffin over to Pasama for out number 3. So once again, 1, 2, 3, go the Vandals. And we're heading down to the bottom of the second. You're watching NETsn from Van High School. We'll be right back. And we're back. Back to the top of the lineup for the Bulldogs as Austin Vega will step up to the plate and get things going. That's going to be down for a ball. Here comes the pitch and a good hit. That's going to be the shortstop. Ross Hendricks shoots it over to Flaughter for out number 1. Chandler Lawson now stepping in. And that's in there for a strike. And that's a popper. And that's out number 2. So Malcolm Pasama will step up, try to get things going. And a good hit right over to third base as Johnson shoots it over to Flotter for out number 3. So 1, 2, 3 go the Bulldogs this inning. Nothing to come out. And we'll be right back. You're watching NETsn. Go ahead and like and subscribe so you don't miss a minute of action for Northeast Texas sports. This is Keith Whitman. We'll be right back. All right, we're here back at Van's, top of the third. Bulldogs lead 1-0 over the Vandals. We're in the bottom of the third. As Pasama steps up and gets the out for out number 1. That'll bring number 16, Austin Stevenson, to the plate, as he'll try to get on base for the Vandals. Here's the pitch, and it's going to be outside for a ball. Gets that pitch in there for a strike. And here it comes. And he watches that one go by. For a ball, the fans didn't seem to like that one. But nonetheless, the umpire called that one a ball. So Stevenson sets up. He's ahead in the count, 2-1. Strike to, as waiting on Ethan Mendez to bring it in. Mendez with the windup. Here's the pitch. It's going to be hit over to the shortstop as Griffin gets it and shoots it over to Pasama. And it's out number 2. Easton Hinch steps to the plate. And he'll try to get something going here with nobody on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Mendez winds up. And with the pitch, that little short for a ball. Hinch waiting on the pitch. And here it comes. Swing and miss for a strike. Good cut but just a little in front of it. Asher Hawkins on deck at the top of the lineup. Here's the pitch. Good little movement on that one for strike number 2. One and 2 the count now. And here's the pitch. Outside for a ball. So that'll even the count at 2. Mendez with the windup. And here's the pitch. That's going to be a little short. Bouncing in front of the home plate for a ball, so that'll make the count 3 and 2 and go full. We have time as Logan Ray runs out to have a conversation with his pitcher. Back to the action as Hinch steps in with a full count, nobody on and 2 out. Mendez looks in, winds up, and here's the pitch. Inside for a ball, so a base runner is on for the Vandals as Hinch makes his way to first base. First base runner for the day for the Vandals. So now we're back at the top of the lineup, and Hawkins going to try to see if he can make something happen with a 2-out rally possibly here in the bottom of the 3rd. Vandals down 1-0. And Asher, the designated hitter, steps in. Mendez checks over to first. Throws over. Not in time. Gets the sign. As Hawkins awaits the pitch. Mendez checks first. And brings it home. And the run goes. Not in time. As Hinch steals second and puts a runner in scoring position for the Vandals to tie the ball game. That last pitch was a ball, so it's 1-0. Put that one in there for a strike. 1-1. A good crowd here for both sides on a cool, crisp night here in Van, Texas. Hawkins steps in, awaits the pitch from Mendez. Mendez checks the runner at second. Brings the pitch home. And movement on that one. Gets over the plate for a strike. Hawkins expecting that one to be a ball, but the umpire had a different idea.
That's not fair.
So 1-2 the count. As Mendez gets set, checks the runner at second, and brings the pitch home. And a high fly ball behind, out of play. And Hawkins stays alive. With 1-2 the count. A runner at second, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. That's going to bounce in front of the plate. Ray can't find it, as Hinch will advance to third. That one kind of bounced in front of Ray. He tried to get it and then lost it in the crowd at home plate. And that allowed Hinch to head to third. So 2-2 still the count. Here's the pitch. Outside for a ball. He loses that one. And a play at the plate as the run is home as Hinch brings a run across on a passed ball by Ray. And that pitch was a ball, so it's a full count. And the game is now tied at 1. So Hawkins steps in with nobody on now. 2 outs and a full count. And he calls times and steps out of the batter's box. And there's the pitch. It's going to go over down third base way as Underwood throws it. Gets it over to Pasama in time for out number 3. But a run does come across to tie the ball game here in the bottom of the third. So we'll head to the fourth with a tie game 1-1. We're here in Van for District 16 4A opener for both teams. Come back and stay with us. We'll be right back here on NETsn. Will step in to the batter's box to start things off here in the 4th inning. Greer still on the mound. Done a pretty good job since the first inning. A swing and miss by Mendez. Greer struggled in the first inning and got a run across for the Bulldogs. But ever since then, he has put down most of the batters that he has seen and done a good job. Here's a hit, over to shortstop. Throw over by Griffin. And Pasama gets it for out number 1. Next up, Riley Underwood. He'll step in to the batter's box and see what he can get going. And a hit straight at his coach. Tried to catch it. Oh, and 1 the count. Another good swing, but just couldn't connect.
Wait, I got a question.
So no balls and 2 strikes. As Greer looks in. Tries to put a little something on it. Goes into the dirt on the outside for a ball. That's a ball, so it's going to be even at 2 now. And a good hit to right field. And Redding there for the catch, and out number 2. Jackson Cummings next up for the Bulldogs. Gets that in there for a strike. One and one the count. in there for a ball. So 2-1 now the count. And a high fly ball. And it's going to get in there as it bounces in front and throws on to first for out number 3. So we're going to head to the bottom of the 4th. And it is tied here in Van in this 16-4A district opener. Got a great game here, folks. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And we're back as Grady Bates steps in the bottom of the 4th. It's a tie ball game at 1. And Mendez still on the mound. And a bunt. And a throw over, but not in time. So Bates runs that one out. And a base runner on for the Vandals. Colton Greer steps up. And see what he can get going here in the bottom of the 4th with a runner on first and nobody out. Greer waits for it. Throw over to first. Not in time. And Greer now awaits the pitch. And we have time as the catcher runs out and have a conversation. Connor Griffin heads out with him and talks as well. And we're back to the action. So Greer awaits the pitch from Mendez. Mendez with the throw, and the runner goes. Pitch over the head. And Jesse James is there, backing up. The shortstop makes the stop. So the runner advances. That was a ball at home plate on that pitch. And a runner now in scoring position for the Vandals. Here comes the pitch. In there for a strike. Want to once again apologize. We're having internet issues out here. Hard to get reception. But just keep in mind, you'll have a good high-quality connection. A good high-quality playback that'll be on our YouTube channel for you to be able to go back and watch if you miss anything during the ball game. But we want you to keep with us. A good hit over to third base, a dive, but it's going to be past Riley Underwood And a base hit puts runners at the corners now for the Vandals. So still nobody out. Runners at first and third. Landon Smith, number 12. He'll head up, clean up batter, and see what he can do as we're here in the bottom of the fourth. Tied at 1. Bulldogs scored early in the game at the top of the first. Throw over to first, not in time. Mendez trying to keep the runner where he is. So Mendez looks in, sees what he likes. Squared around a bunt is Landon Smith. Mendez steps off, and the runners go back to their bags. Smith looks in, ready, steps into the batter's box, and awaits the pitch from Mendez. Squares around a bunt, and once again Mendez puts the runners back on their bases. Mendez trying to catch one of the runners off guard. And brings the pitch home on that one. And the runner goes to second. No throw by the catcher. And the runner advances. As Greer goes to second base. And puts runners at second and third now for the Vandals with nobody out. 1-0 the count. Smith looking to bring some runners home. And Mendez trying to not make that happen. A good pitch right in front and a good stop by Ray. No runner, though, as Ray puts his body in there, knocks the ball to the side, and keeps a run from third coming home. Two balls and no strikes. Smith will step in. And here's the pitch from Mendez. And a good hit over to shortstop. And Griffin fumbles the ball. Couldn't grab a hold of it. And a run comes in for the Vandals. Andrew Flaughter now up to bat for Van. As on that base hit, on that error, it's going to be an E6. Runners at first and second. Still no outs. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike. Good pitch. Mendez looks at the runners. Water squares around but pulls back in time and evens the count at 1. Flaughter in again. Awaits the pitch. And that's going to be 2 balls. So 2-1 the count. Runners at first and second. Nobody out. Mendez trying to pitch his way out of this one. A run already came across. Flaughter squares around again. Pitches outside for a ball. So 3-1's now the count. Mendez brings the pitch. Flotter once again squares around. It's going to be a foul ball as it goes down and hits him. And now it's a full count. So Mendez gets ready as Flotter waits for the pitch. It's a full count, nobody out. Runners take leads off first and second. Mendez brings it home, and a good pitch stops Flotter as a swing and a miss for a strikeout. And out number one. So Ross Hendricks will step up to the plate now. With one run already across and two runners and a runner on first and second. We'll see if Hendricks can do anything with a runner in scoring position. Mendez checks the runners and brings it home. It's going to be outside for a ball. Hendricks waits the pitch. Mendez checks the runners again. Another good pitch on the outside, however. Trying to get him to chase on that little curveball that he has. But Hendricks is not falling for it. So 2-0 the count. And there's a fly ball. Correction, it's a ground ball. And with that, the bases are loaded. And we have time on the field as Coach Snyder, or the coach, heads out to have a conversation. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back here at Van. So the conference on the mound is over. Caleb Redding next up for the Vandals. So there's two down. Runners at the corners. Redding steps in and waits the pitch. Here it comes. And a good hit out into deep left field. And it's off the wall. And one run comes across. And two runs come across. And a throw to third is in time. As Redding tries to stretch a double into a triple and doesn't quite make it. Coach Haltom trying to appeal this one. We'll sit tight for a second and see what happens, but it looks like it's going to stand. So that's out number 3. 2 runs, however, do come across. And that'll put the score at 4 for the Vandals and 1 for the Bulldogs. We're going to head to the 5th inning here in Van. Your score is 4-1. Thank you for watching NETsn. Go ahead and like and subscribe so you won't miss a minute of the sports action of Northeast Texas. Go ahead and chat with us too. Let us know how things are going, where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from all of our watchers. We'll be right back here in Van.
Have you sustained a bone, joint, work, or sports injury? Problems with mobility or movement? Suffer with pain? Contact Azalea Orthopedics. Our specialists serve patients across East Texas. For proven, trusted medical care, you have a choice. Demand Azalea.
And we're back in Van. It's a chilly night. Temperature has dropped a little bit since we got started. Noticed a lot of fans running back to their vehicles to get jackets or sweatshirts. I myself had to put one on. It's 57 degrees here on the field. So at least it's not hot, but it is a little bit chilly, but that's good. It's great for baseball.
No. Oh, I moved it. It's right there. Next to me.
So the Bulldogs are ready as Greer is set to bring the first pitch. It's going to be down low, bounced in for a ball. Connor Griffin at the plate takes his second pitch for a ball. So 2 balls and no strikes to Griffin. The Vandals had a 3-run bottom of the 4th. Take the lead. A good hit by Griffin up the middle. And that is going to come from Hendricks over to Flotter for out number 1. And with that out, Logan Ray will step up to the plate. And see if he can help the Bulldogs cut into that 3-run lead that the Vandals have. Greer set with the windup. Here's the pitch, and a swing and a miss by Ray. Gets strike number 1. And another swing and a miss for strike number 2. Now we have more 16-4A action on Friday as we head to Lindale and bring you the game. Cumberland Academy visits the Lindale Eagles on Friday. That's a swing and a miss for strike number 3 and out number 2. So join us on Friday night as we bring you that 4A action. District play. Mason Beck now stands in with nobody on and 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. And that pitch is a little low for ball 1. Beck awaits the pitch. Here it comes. It's low again. Ball 2. And Greer with the pitch. That's 3 pitches down low. That'll make it 3-0. It's a batter's count, so we'll see what Beck does with this one, if he watches it or swings. And he watches it down low for ball 4 and takes his base. So with 2 outs, we have a runner on first. Back at the top of the lineup is Austin Vega. Steps into the batter's box. Greer makes sure Beck stays where he is and brings it home. That's going to be bounced up, and it gets loose. Beck tries, goes about halfway and decides not to commit all the way as that ball bounced off of the chest plate of Austin Stevenson. And we have time on the field. as the coach will head out and have a talk with Greer and the team. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
Net Sports Network, your streaming home for Northeast Texas sports.
And we're back. We're going to start the action. As you just saw, this Saturday is the 18th annual Azalea Orthopedics All-Star Game. That's a high fly ball into left field. Bates underneath and catches it for out number 3. Once again on this Friday, we have Cumberland Academy heading to Lindale, and NETsn will be there bringing you live coverage. And then Saturday, join in at 5:30 as we'll be streaming live the 18th annual Azalea Orthopedics High School All-Star Game. Girls game starts at 5:30. Boys are immediately afterwards with a dunk contest and shooting contest in between. And NETsn will bring you all that coverage live on their YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NETsn live. Heading to the bottom of the 5th, your score Van 4, Chapel Hill 1. We'll be right back here on NETsn. Like and subscribe. We'll see you in a minute. We'll be back. We are back here in Van. In the bottom of the 5th, the Vandals lead 4-1 over the Chapel Hill Bulldogs in this District 16 4A matchup. A swing and a miss as number 9, Wyatt Dale, is now batting. And that's going to be a hit by pitch. And Dale will make his way down to first base. Number 3, Easton Hinch, will head in. Nobody out, runner on first. And Hinch steps in. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Mendez checks first. Throws over, not in time. Good throw, though. But just doesn't get there. As Dale gets back in time. Mendez gets what he wants. Checks Dale over and throws it over again. Time on the field. First base got a little knocked off its run there. The Van coach puts it back in its place, and we're ready to go. So Hinch steps in. Want to know the count? And here's the pitch. Squares around for the bunt as Hinch goes. And the throw over to first bounces away. And the play at the plate. Not in time, so a run comes across. And a runner goes to first. And we're back at the top of the lineup for the Vandals as Asher Hawkins will step into the batter's box. And we have time on the field as the coach heads out. And looks like we might have a pitching change. And that we do, as Mendez's day is over on the mound. So we're going to take a short break while the new pitcher for the Bulldogs warm up. We'll be right back. You're watching NETsn here from Van.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.
And we have a pitching change for the Bulldogs as number 3, Chandler Lawson, now on the mound. With no outs and a runner on first. And he'll be facing the top of the lineup as Asher Hawkins, the designated hitter for the Vandals, will be his first at-bat against Lawson. And we're ready to go as Hawkins makes his way to the plate. So Hawkins is ready as Lawson gets set. Checks the runner at first, throws over, and not in time. And again, he throws over to first. Here's the pitch. That's going to be high for a ball. Ray checking over, making sure that Hinch stays where he is. So Lawson ready. Brings the pitch. And the throw to first is passed. And the runner will head to second as Hinch makes it there on an error. And Hawkins steps in with 2-0 count. And a runner in second now. Pitch to the outside for a ball. So 3-0 the count. And Lawson looks. Ready to throw. Here it comes. That's high above the numbers for ball 3. And the runner will head to first as Hawkins makes his way, and Grady Bates, will head to the plate. So now with runners on first and second, we'll see what Lawson brings to try to pitch out of this inning with no outs. Checks the runner at second. Brings it to the plate. In there for a strike. Good pitch. As Bates watches that one go by. Lawson takes a look. Ready for the pitch. Here it comes as Bates kind of squares around, but pulls back in time. Squares for that bunt. Trying to advance those runners. Infield up a little bit. Expecting a bunt, and squared around. There's the bunt. And the throw over to first is not in time. So that'll load the bases up. Colton Greer. I apologize. Greer stepping up. With the bases loaded and nobody out, Lawson looks in, gets the sign. And here's the pitch. Little outside for a ball. We're in the bottom of the fifth. The Vandals lead 5-1 over the Bulldogs. And with the bases loaded and nobody out, they're looking to expand that lead. Here's the pitch from Lawson. And a hit straight up the middle. And that's going to be in the outfield, And a run is going to come home. And that's 2 runs that came in. So the lead by the Vandals extends, to 6. And still nobody out. And runners now at the corners. Number 12, the cleanup batter, Landon Smith, is up next as he'll step in. Andrew Flotter on deck. Here's the pitch. And the runner goes, and here's the throw. And gets past the third baseman as the Jesse James throws over to third. Try to keep that runner at third there, but nonetheless, the runner gains a base from first to second. So now 2 runners in scoring position as Smith sits with 1 ball and no strikes. In there for a strike by Lawson. Good solid pitch down the middle. And evens count at 1. Pitching a little in front of home plate for a ball. So 2-1 the count. Lawson looks over, and here's the pitch. And that one's going to be up the middle and into the outfield. And 2 runs will come across for the Vandals. That extends the lead to 9. 8. Apologize for that. We had a little technical difficulty. But there's 2 down now. As Ross Hendricks will step up to the plate. That was a ball. And here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Sorry about that. We had a camera difficulty. I had to go deal with a technical issue. But I got it fixed. So we have that camera angle behind home plate back. I apologize for that. In there for a strike. Makes it 1-2. Down for a ball. Even at 2 now is the count. Time was called before the pitch. And here comes the pitch. a little outside, says the umpire. And that will make the count go full. And here's the pitch. And a hit deep into center field. But Austin Vega is there to make the catch and end the inning. So 5 runs come in. Your score is 9-1. You're watching NETsn live from Van. Go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll be right back. And we're back here in the top of the 6th. Chandler Lawson leading things off for the Bulldogs. And a swing and a miss for strike 1. Lawson looks on as Greer throws the pitch high for a ball. So 1-1 now the count. That's in there for a strike. And that'll make it 1-2 as Lawson steps in. And here comes the pitch from Greer. He reaches out as that one bounces over and gets strike number 3 for out number 1. Malcolm Pasama up next for the Bulldogs as he'll step in, try to cut into this lead that the Vandals have. Pasama awaits the pitch from Greer. And here's the pitch. That's going to be in there for a strike. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be high around the eyes for a ball. Makes it 1-1. Bounced in front of the plate for a ball. And here's the pitch. That's bounced down too. So it's 3 balls and 1 strike to Pasama. In there for a strike. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be fouled back as Pasama stays alive. Here's the pitch. And that's in there for strike 3. So that's 2 down. Ethan Mendez will step in. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike. And a good hit. And that's going to hit into Hinch as he takes a couple of steps forward for out number 3. So we're through 5.5 with the score Van 9, Chapel Hill 1. You're watching NETsn. We'll be right back here from Van. And we're back here in Van. Number 4, Calum Redding, will be leading things off in the bottom of the 6th. Score 9-1. Vandals have an 8-run lead. Lawson still on the mound with the windup and the pitch. And he puts it in there for a strike. And that's a foul tip. So Redding finds himself behind. 0-2 in the count. That's a high. So that's going to be a ball. 1-2. The count to Redding. And a good, solid hit into left field. Drops in front of Cummings. And the Vandals have a runner on first. Wyatt Dale next up, with a runner on first. Nobody out. Easton Hinch, the potential winning run, on deck. Here's the pitch. Over to first. 1-0 the count. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be in there for a strike. Good pitch by Lawson, as he puts that one right over the plate. Lawson checks the runner at second and brings the ball home. And that's going to be high and inside for a ball, as Dale had to spin out of the way of that one. And here comes the pitch. A swing and a miss. We'll even the count at 2. If you missed any of this game, just remember we'll have it on our YouTube channel soon. It'll be a good, high quality passed ball on that pitch, and the runner advances to third. Count goes full. So check out tomorrow, by the way, at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NETsn live, to watch all the ball games that we have in high quality. We record them and put them up on our YouTube channel after the stream date. So that's ball 4 as Dale heads down to first. Easton Hinch will step into the batter's box for the Vandals. Runners on the corners, and Hinch represents the winning run. Correction, I apologize. Dale represents the winning run over on first. Lawson steps off and puts Dale back at first. And Hinch will step in. Lawson looks, gets what he wants, brings the pitch low and outside for a ball. Hinch awaits. Lawson over to first. Not in time. Puts Dale back on the bag. Trying hard to keep that runner where he is. Lawson sets and brings it home for a ball. The runner goes, but no throw by Ray, as he wisely holds on to it. Winning run now represented on second. So runners on second and third, no out. 2-0 the count. And that's going to be out of play for a strike. Don't forget this Friday, NETsn travels to Lindale as the Lindale Eagles host the Cumberland Academy Knights. More 16-4A action for you. And it's going to be live on NETsn. So go ahead and like and subscribe. That way you can tune in and watch all of Northeast Texas sports. Swing and a miss as Easton got a little in front of that one. Evens the count at 2. And here's the pitch from Lawson. And that's going to be high to make the count full. Also, don't forget on Friday, even though it is baseball season, we got some basketball for you as the Azalea Orthopedics All-Star Game, brought to you live by NETsn. We'll be streaming that one starting at 5:30. Girls game first, boys game after that, with a dunk competition and a shooting competition in between. So Easton Finch swings at that one and tips it to stay alive. So the count's still full. Lawson looks in. Gets set. Checks the runners. And brings the pitch. It's going to be outside and low for a ball. And that'll put runner at first, which will load the bases for Asher Hawkins. We have a time on the field as the Bulldogs coach heads out to have a conversation with Lawson. Not sure if we're going to have a pitching change. Waiting to see what happens. We'll take 10 seconds for identification. You're watching NETsn here live from Van. So the conference is over. Bases loaded, nobody out. We're in the bottom of the 6th. The winning run sits at second base. And we're at the top of the lineup for the Vandals as designated hitter Asher Hawkins makes his way to the plate. It's been a solid performance by the Bulldogs. Just could not, however, get those bats going. Lawson gets set, and here's the pitch. He pitches that in there for a strike. Good pitch by Lawson to start off this at-bat. Hawkins steps in. Here's the pitch. It's going to be high and inside as Hawkins has to bend back a little bit. A little matrix move to get out of the way of that one. It's going to be 1-1. So Lawson gets set. Looks to bring it home, and he does. A little high, right above the numbers. And that'll make it 2 balls and 1 strike to Hawkins. That one goes low in the dirt, and 3-1 is the count. And here's the pitch. That's going to be fouled back out of play as it goes into the parking lot and makes the count full, 3-2. Hawkins steps in as Lawson gets the sign he wants, comes set, brings the pitch. And it's high, but it's swung on by Hawkins, trying to knock that one out, and gets a strikeout. So out number 1, as Lawson takes care of the leadoff batter. Grady Bates heads up to the plate. And that pitch goes over, but called a ball. Lawson sets and brings it home. And that's going to be hit down the first base line as Pasama tags first. Run does come across, however. So that's 2 down. Runners on second and third now. And the winning run sits at third base. But Lawson going to work out of that and try to get this strikeout or get the last final out of the inning. And that's going to be bounced back. And here comes the runner. We have a play at the plate. And that's the ball game, ladies and gentlemen, as Dale comes in to cross on a passed ball as it bounces in front. And that will be the play that ends it here in Van. So the first district matchup for the Bulldogs brings up a loss. It's a 11-1 win by the Vandals. And that's going to do it here for us here at NETsn. We're glad that you joined us tonight. Don't forget that we will post the recording of this game. We have a high-quality recording that we do, and it'll be posted over the next few days onto our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NETsn live. You can also find us on Twitter at hashtag NETsn_live. Go ahead and like and subscribe. That way you won't miss any of the action as we bring you Northeast Texas Sports. Friday, I'll be heading to Lindale as the Eagles will host the Cumberland Academy Knights in more District 16 4A action. And then on Saturday, join in and watch the high school Azalea Orthopedics All-Star Game. Game starts at 5:30 as the girls do it first. They will be playing first. In between, we have a dunk contest and a shooting contest, and then the boys will play following that. Well, once again, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. And don't forget, once again, to like and subscribe. Hey, thank you for joining me. This is Keith Whitman from Van. That's all for me here. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good night.